Hello, messy artists. My name is Wendy Solganic. You may know me on Instagram as willa.wanders. And I've been invited here today to challenge you to create some messy art. And my prompt is awe. And I love this prompt. The reason I love this prompt is because I'm in awe of quite a few things. It goes perfectly with my personality. So what I'm going to challenge you to do is to create what is known as a mixed media master sheet. It's also just collage on a piece of paper. And you cover the entire sheet of paper. So you can start with any size sheet of text weight paper. For this project, we're going to use text weight paper. For other projects with master sheets, you would use a heavier weight paper. But I'm just using this lightweight paper. I believe it's about 12 inches by 18 inches, but you can use any size paper. I'm just going to measure this in case anyone asks, but you really can use any size sheet of paper. So yes, this is 12 by 18 inches. That's inches. I'm in the United States. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cover my entire sheet of paper. I'm going to use a glue stick. If you prefer to do collaging with matte medium, then you could use a matte medium, but that's a wet medium versus a dry medium. And I prefer, if I can, to collage using a dry medium. So all I'm going to do is I am going to glue things to this sheet of paper that I am in awe of. And after I've covered the entire sheet, we are going to convert this into a book. And while I do this work, I am going to talk about why I'm in awe of some of the things that I'm in awe of and why they inspired this project. So one of the things I've been in awe of for quite a while is handmade paper that artists can use as collage papers. And people call this many things. They call these handmade papers many different names. I happen to like the name collage fodder, and I've really taken to that name. And my love for these papers has inspired me so much. I was in so much awe of it that I was actually inspired to start a whole entire online art school called Fodder School. And I continue to be inspired and in awe of collage fodder, which is, again, handmade papers for art. I continue to be in such awe of this every single day that I wake up every morning excited to make art. Another thing that I'm really very in awe of is the worldwide community of artists, both instructors and students, who contribute to this online art community that we have that's thriving. People like Kaylee, the owner of Get Messy, and also artists like Rebecca Chapman from the UK. She's the artist that taught me how to make the papers that I'm using right now. And I'm really in awe of Rebecca and these papers. And I love that when I'm creating this little book that I'm going to create, that I'm thinking about all of these things that really I'm in awe of and that inspire me. I'm also in awe of color. I've been a huge fan of color and color mixing for a very long time. And I love to use what I consider to be my signature colors. It really brings me a tremendous amount of joy. So you're going to see me working with kind of a little bit of a weird palette, but they are my signature colors that I love. And if you have colors that you love, you could consider kind of working with those colors over and over and over again. It's not something that you have to do. It's just something that I enjoy doing. So that's another thing I'm in awe of. And you can think of all the things that you're feeling in awe of, and you can collage them onto a page. Now, if you don't have your own stash of handmade collage paper, that's totally fine. Go into your stash of whatever you have. It could be old art that you've made. It could be papers that you bought at a big box craft store that you really like. It could be old vintage book pages, old music pages, old letters, anything that you feel like you are in awe of. That's what I want you to put down on your piece of paper. And like I mentioned, your piece of paper can be any size. It does not need to be 12 inches by 18 inches. You could make something really small. You could make something really big. It does not need to be the size that I'm creating in. I just happen to have this paper in this size. There's nothing magical about it. So I'm just going to go on thinking about what I'm in awe of and adding it to my page. And when I'm done, I'm going to show you how to fold this to create something that hopefully will be even more awe-inspiring than the materials that we started with. So I'm going to speed up this video, I'm going to play some music, and I'll see you when I'm done collaging. I was collaging, I was really thinking about more things that I felt in awe of. And some of those things that came to my mind were not only the color, but I'm also in awe of texture. And there's so much texture in these handmade papers. It's incredible. Another thing I thought of that I was in awe of is something that was taught to me by Kaylee. And that is the basic structure that is a zine. And every month in Get Messy, we have a zine meetup where we meet together on Zoom and everyone who's there creates a zine. And creating a zine is so easy that I am in awe of that structure. And I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna take this collage master sheet and very, very simply create an entire book with it. So all you have to do in order to create a zine is fold your paper in half, both vertically and horizontally. So I will start in this direction and I will carefully try to line up my edges. And fold. Now, what's going to happen is some of these papers are actually going to maybe want to pop off a little. So I'm just going to be a little careful as I do this. They're going to want to pop off, especially if where you ended up putting a piece of paper is right at the edge. But we can always go back in later and add a little bit more of the glue stick to that. So nothing to worry about. It'll all work out in the end. Okay, so you put in your first fold. And actually, I don't have my bone folder here, so I'm just going to use the edge of this palette knife to just press this down, because this paper has gotten a lot thicker with all that glue and with those papers that I collaged on. This is no longer the flimsy sheet of text weight paper that we started with. Okay, so I've made my first fold. I'm going to make my second fold. I'm going to go halfway in the other direction. Once you see how simple this is, and you're in awe of the simplicity of this, you're going to want to make a lot of zines with us. Okay. The next two folds are going to be folding each one of these sides toward the middle. Now, what I don't want to do is go so close to that middle point that there's no wiggle room. So I do want to keep a hairline in there so that when I fold this all together to become a book, there's just a little hairline of wiggle. You can see this edge is coming off again. That's just inevitable when you use this technique. I'm going to fold the next side into the middle, leaving that hairline. All right. The next thing that you're going to do is you are going to fold your paper in half, and you are going to cut along the center fold, but only toward the middle point. You're not going to go all the way through. You're just going to put a cut into here. So once again, you're going to take your sheet, you're going to fold it together, and then you're going to put a cut line here. Okay. Then you fold your book into the zine shape. And in order to do that, you just start moving it around until you have the shape. And you can decide that this is either going to go toward the front or toward the back. It does take a little bit of of wiggle, and I can see that I have to kind of maneuver it around a little. I'm definitely going to have to do some work on these edges, either by cutting them off or gluing them, because they are popping off. And there you have it. You have your zine. You have your book. So quick, so effective. I'm in awe of zines. All right, I'm gonna get to work fixing this one up, and I hope you make a zine and tag me, Willa.Wanders, on Instagram if you decide to make your own simple awe zine with whatever you've got on hand that you love and you're in awe of. And I can't wait to see what you create.